What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another review, and this time it's the Space Sweepers. And you know what, the trailer came out of nowhere and I was completely captivated by the trailers. I didn't know anything about it. I watched the trailer and I was completely blown away, and I could not wait for the movie. And after watching it, I can say that it is overall a good film. It could have been great, but there are aspects to it that actually stop it from getting to that excellence point. Now, starting with the positives, the visuals are downright amazing. I mean, they are up there with, like, the highest of the Hollywood or the high blockbusters, if you want to call it. They're right there. There are some really amazing looking set pieces. The space stuff, all of that looks unique. There are the spaceships, all of that are, that stuff is captivating. It captivates you. The visual style is its own. You feel that you're in that world. It doesn't feel like a copy of something else. The chemistry, the next thing, between all the characters, very well done. All the characters, they have their characteristics, and they have these, as always in these kind of films where the band of misfits come together, they have their issues with each other, and it works well. But that also is a negative that I have with this film. It feels like that they could have spent a lot more time with it. When the film starts, it really jumps really quick to where it needs to be, where it's like, okay, these characters are together. I do feel like that it was a missed opportunity where you could have spent more time with each of the characters and, then bring them together to go on to this space adventure. Because when everything starts, it's like, oh, okay, they're together. But then there is a particular scene after that where the kind of disagreement they have versus how they showed them at the start with them all working together, it just feels like it could have been reversed, where it's like, okay, they had these disagreements and then they came together as a group. So that's one of the negatives. I think the film kind of quickly puts you in there, because there are personal stuff going on with each of the characters. One of the characters actually they focus the most on, but others, there is stuff that's shown in flashbacks, quick stuff, but that's intriguing stuff. And I do feel like the first maybe 30 or 45 minutes, if they would have done with just bringing these characters together and spending some time with where they're coming from, it would have been great to actually dive a bit more into all of these characters. It would have added a lot more personality to the film. Other than that, the story actually is good, and that's where the bad guy also comes in part of it. He ends up being generic overall. There's also this thing with him that he has, and honestly, I almost felt like that every time he has that thing, it's like, oh, he's turning into something, but they never take that anywhere. So at the end of the day, I if I'm mistaken, please let me know, but never felt like that was needed. That element to him, it was like, okay, he gets into this thing and everybody's like all like scared of him, nobody can say anything, and it's like, okay, by the end of it, he just turns into a end game boss fight that they gotta defeat, and that's it. There are a lot of elements in the story itself that they could have explored, and I think personally this film could have been a two arc film, where it's like the first film and a second film, where they should have explored a lot more of the universe that they're in, how the dynamics of everything work, and then go into the second one where the bad guy really comes into play. I think that aspect of it just felt rushed, and by the end of it, the bad guy just felt like, okay, it was just another bad guy who just hates everything, and it didn't dive into the psyche of the bad guy. And I think it could have been a very, very good antagonist, but they never got there. I think that was very underdeveloped. It looked like he was going to be something because of, especially for me, one of the abilities that he has, and it gets into this rage and this anger, and you see this build up, but they never go anywhere with that. So that's why towards the end of it, it just feels like, okay, he's at the end boss. The adventure itself never felt boring. There was a very unique aspect to it that, the child, if you have seen the trailers, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a unique ability to it, and I think they could have explored a lot more, and that's where also my idea of the two arc film, where it's like the first part and the second part could have been better, where they could have explored that and the characters a lot more, and then dive into the whole aspect of the bad guy and what he's trying to do. And the finale could have been that much better if they just split into two and explored the story a lot more. But overall, it still is able to be a really good, enjoyable film. It's just a lot of the negatives here and there just hamper it down to an enjoyable time, which you can watch and have a really fun time. The characters, the actors did a really good job with all the characters. They could have been explored a lot more, as I said. So overall, I give this a 7 out of 10. A strong 7 out of 10. But as I said, could have been a lot more than it is. Now, if they go with a second film, if Netflix releases a second film or whatsoever, I still can't wait. I do hope that they actually continue, and I do hope that it does well on Netflix, good enough so they warrant a second part, because I do love these characters. I do want to see where they can go with this kind of adventure. If you've seen Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that, it felt like that. It did. It did. With Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, oh yeah, that similarities are there, and you'll see if you've seen that show, the anime show, you'll see the similarities. So there is a lot they can do with this group of characters. So yeah, there's my take on the film. Have you watched it? If you liked it, let me know. If you haven't liked it, let me know. If it passed your expectations, if it did not pass your expectations, all of that. Leave a comment below. Let me know. And other than that, I want to say thank you for watching. Thanks for watching the review. And if you like the review and if you want to watch other ones, there are a lot more on the channel. Please go have a watch. And other than that, I want to say take care, take it easy, and I will catch you all later. Until then, ta-ta, AK out.